Alright, so I'm going to start with the collisions. So I changed my collision manager, so it just has an update here that does all of the big AABB calculations before we're actually doing the test, so it doesn't do it within the test. And that's here. It just has these update commands, and that's what actually calculates what it needs. What am I looking for? Oh yeah, there we go. So in here, this is where it goes through everybody in its group, gets its B sphere, and then calculates the AABB. And so I'll show you the game. So right now, the frigate's AABB is colliding here, but no one else is colliding, so if you leave that, it's fine. This guy over here is a B sphere, so when I get close to him, you see right here. Oop. Well. Damn. Okay, well, so it's sort of broken. But, I guess it's something with my actual collisions. But the tier testing is overall almost there, I would say. It only registers the collision when it's actually colliding, and it doesn't display the thing until there when you leave. It doesn't even do that other command, so it doesn't display. Let's see if this one's a AABB versus AABB. Yep, same deal. Right there, it's outside of here. And then last one is OBB versus AABB. So it displays it, and then when it actually collides, it does that. And now I'll just fly through the collision test itself. Okay, so I have step 1 here. Does the overall AABBs for the collision groups, and then test 2, if it gets down here, here's the early out for the first test. Second test, it adds collidables to a list if they collide with the large AABB, and it will early out if that list is empty, because that means nothing collided with the bigger guy. And then if it goes in here, does the last 2 steps, wherein here's the other early out. So it tests the B spheres first, and then it'll early out just by nature of the AND statement, or the AND, yeah. And then if it gets here, then it'll do this other test for the actual collidables. And then it's a similar thing for this. It's just only steps 3 and 4, and it's doing the same iterator mashing about, where it doesn't test it tests them the efficient way that it was doing it before, where the iterators cascade. Next thing is the documents. So for the game design, I was thinking about adding some camera features. The outer tank versus inner tank, I would use a strategy pattern that would just basically swap out what was being rendered and whether you were inside the tank or outside the tank. And if you were inside the tank, it would also render a 2D sprite over you for the viewport of the tank. For the camera splitting, where the camera kind of does like a flyover in certain states, I guess in the tank game it does it for transitions of scenes. I was going to use a tween library. I was going to make a tween library that's similar to Alarmables, where it just has a command timeline, and then the difference from Alarmables is that the command itself will add itself back to the timeline at a certain delta, so that until it reaches the destination value. So I'll do that with the positions for the cameras. Tween from the current position to a final destination. For the HUD, I have it kind of just laid out here for how I'm going to display things. Some ideas. I thought there was a mini-map, but I don't think there actually was. Yep. So that's all in the dock. Just to keep things short, I'll just shoot over to audio. I have these class diagrams here, the things that I already have. The three things that I want to do are 3D audio, reverb and filters, and a simple obstruction and occlusion system, as it's more complicated than I thought. Grab these diagrams here. I think they're in this folder. So 3D audio just goes to a flim sound, has a position, and then goes over to the audio thread and uses X3D audio to do the calculations and set volumes of the speakers, and then there's just a singleton listener on the game side that corresponds to the listener on the audio thread. Then for effects, I just have a reverb and a filter object built into the flim sound, and it's pretty much built into X3D audio. I just use these parameters set by the user to change the parameters in X audio too. The stuff I'll actually have to roll my own is going to be this obstruction occlusion system. I'm going to probably have to add a some sort of line to my collision system. I call it an occlusion line, where there'll be a line drawn from, or a line calculated from the emitter to the listener, and if anything collides with it, then it'll just it'll tell the audio thread to do some occlusion, in the sense that it just puts a low pass filter over it at a value set by the user and does volume attenuation. I'm going to have to add a on collision enter and on collision exit callback to the collision system. It just uses kind of the same idea as the input system, where you just have a bool that checks if a collision had just happened, or if it's not colliding, if it had just been colliding, or so you can get the actual moment rather than calculating occlusion every frame. And that's it.